Yes, it's that time of year again. It's time for the top 10 rides of 2023. This year I managed to get on a bunch of new machines, and also a lot of machines I've already done, and a lot of them have gotten a lot better. But it's time to choose my favourite 10. But let's take a look at some runners-up that didn't quite make the top 10.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh! There we go! Here we go for some more speed! A little more speed! Oh.
Getting into the list now, at number 10 we have Michelle Wilmot's Air Raid. However, when I wrote it, it was rethemed as Spin Jam and was placed in Alton Towers. I first wrote Air Raid in 2020 at Cullen's Fun Fair in Derry. That year there were a bunch of Scottish machines, and one of which was Air Raid. I absolutely loved it. It was being manually operated and the engine was extremely fast. In 2022, the ride went on a stay to Alton Towers, where it would remain for 2 years as part of the Retro Squad. It was rethemed to Spin Jam. Spin Jam is easily the best Retro Squad ride. I mean, Funk and Fly and that. The ride was actually being operated really well, and the engine had a really good punch to it, had really good speed. It shatters every single extreme in terms of speed. I have seen videos though of the ride running with jingles, which was kind of odd to be honest, but with my cycle I didn't have any. Overall, Air Raid / Spin Jam was a really surprising ride to end up seeing in my top 10 to be honest. Hopefully this year we might see Air Raids back out in Northern Ireland, or possibly Air Raid 2. At number 9 we have Michelle Smith's Crazy Chic Tagada. This Tagada came in as a replacement for Macaulay Hart's Wild Thing Tagada, which came in last year. Wild Thing made it into the runners-up, but this year a Tagada has finally made it into the top 10. This one being much superior, Crazy Chic. Crazy Chic had an extremely long cycle, and it also went both directions. It had some really good powerful bounces, it was using lots of jingles, and it was also using mic, which was really good. And one of the highlights of the POV was the amount of times people fell off because the operator would slow the ride down and bounce it and tried to make people fall off. They even tried to make me fall off, which to no avail. It's been brilliant to have Crazy Chic over for this event, and hopefully it'll be back over next year. It's been looking really good in England too. At number 8 we have Grant Wallace's Too Fast, Too Furious Matterhorn. This Matterhorn was purchased at the start of the season by Scottish showman Grant Wallace, and it made its debut at Cullen's in Newry, before afterwards going to Cullen's Coleraine, where I rode it, so I got to ride it on its second outing with its new owner. It might look like your standard run-of-the-mill Matterhorn, until you realise this thing has the most ridiculous amount of swing ever. The ride doesn't have like the most ridiculous amount of speed, but the swing more than makes up for it. In sections you're practically going upside down, and to maximise swings, the operator will speed up the ride, then slow it down, then speed it up, and it's brilliant. But there's more. It goes backwards. So imagine chaotic swing whilst also going backwards. It's absolutely terrifying, but I love it. All I can say is, what a ride. The ride is now back over in Scotland, but hopefully it might be back in Northern Ireland soon. At number 7 we have another Scottish ride. This one being Taylor's Waltzer. This Waltzer has had many Scottish owners over the years, and it actually came to Northern Ireland for a fun fair in Bangor in 2016, under its previous name of Night Mover. In 2019, the ride was sold to Callum Michelle Taylor of Taylors of Edinburgh, who completely refurbished the ride to Waltzer. Unfortunately, most people only see this Waltzer at Edinburgh's Christmas, where it's being run okay. So I was worried when I heard that this was going to be coming to K-Land Portrush as a replacement for Master Blaster. From the videos it looked alright. Then one evening I went down to Portrush to try it, and this is the most underrated Waltzer in the whole of the UK. For one thing, let's start with the operator. The mic action was absolutely amazing. The speed it had was absolutely incredible. The music is what you call proper Waltzer music. strobes and smoke, it just had everything. It's just an absolutely brilliant atmosphere. And the two guys who were walking it were absolutely brilliant too. Also, thanks for the free ride too. I really wish I did film some of my other rides because they were just that good. One time the guys who were walking did not stop spinning the car at all. They did not leave my car and it was so intense and there was smoke pumping everywhere. They kept pumping the smoke machine every 5 seconds. It was brilliant. Unfortunately, I did not get to ride this beast at night, but I really wish I did. But thankfully, the guys did send me a video, which is absolutely class, so I'm just going to leave you on that. At number 6, we have Austin Holland's Super Bowl. At the start of the season, Austin Holland brought over a Super Bowl for Fundamania Dairy, and that is where I first rode it. Unfortunately, my camera failed. It's a long story, to be honest, but I did get some nice footage of me getting on. The ride though was extremely intense, and it had some really good force when you got to the bottom of the ride. I was hoping I would get another POV at another Castle's ground, but unfortunately it left Northern Ireland shortly afterwards, but it came back for Fundamania Belfast. I rode it there again and finally got my POV. The ride really feels like a breakdance combined with a Huss takeoff, but it lifts at extremely steep angles. It definitely felt a lot faster in Derry though, and the forces were more sustained. But either way, Super Bowl is a really good ride and I hope we get to see it over in Northern Ireland again this year. At number 5, we have Nemesis Subterra at Alton Towers. This ride was sort of like a continuation of the story of Nemesis, which was closed for that year. The ride originally opened in 2012, but it closed in 2015, but recently reopened in 2023, and I got to experience it that year. And my goodness, this was one petrifying experience. If you do not want any spoilers of the ride, please skip to the timestamp shown on screen right now. But basically, you enter these lifts and are told that you're going to be heading deep underground to go see the Nemesis egg. When you get down, you're told to sit in these seats and you have to pull down a safety bar. Then a presentation begins. It talks about how it was showing signs of life. Then suddenly things start going horribly wrong and then you're plunged into darkness. The lights go back on to reveal a hatched egg before the lights go back out, and then you're on the top of a drop tower and then you drop 10 feet down into a nest. You get sprayed with water whilst also the backs of your legs get tickled or whipped, and then there's back pokers. It's just terrifying. Then you start coming back out and then you're told you have only about 30 seconds to escape. You enter back in these lifts and then suddenly smoke starts getting pumped back in, and then the lights go out and then the roof gets torn off. It's just chaos. Then you come out and then you're in like this mini scare maze before running out and eventually making it to the end. You can easily see why this made it the top 10 because of how terrifying it is. At number 4 we have Owen Curry's Ice Jet Matterhorn. I initially did this Matterhorn at Thunderland RDS in 2022 and it was absolutely amazing. So it was brilliant to get back on it at Curry's Fun Park Salt Hill earlier this year. Unlike in Thunderland, where the period of going max speed was quite short, Salt Hill went on for a lot longer, which is brilliant when you realise how fast this Matterhorn actually is. This is definitely the fastest Matterhorn I've ever done. Whilst most of the rides at a medium speed, do not let that fool you. The final bit is so fast it's actually unreal. And the swing is mental. Hopefully we'll see it again this year in 2024. Right, it's time for the top 3 now. At number 3, we have Evan Castley's Freestyle. Well, where do I start with this? This year, the ride got a brand new cycle, and I had no clue that I had this new cycle, and I went on it at the start of the season in Derry, not expecting it to be that bad, and it gave me a game over. Full speed the entire time, several insane stalls, and also it went both directions. I frankly was dead.
Game over.
I've now thankfully become used to this cycle, and I'm absolutely in love with it. It's one of the best auto cycles ever. Seriously, think of an auto cycle which has this much variety. I don't think there is any. I also rode the ride in several other locations, including Ballyclare, Ballycastle and Belfast. My favourite ride had to be the one in Ballycastle, with this absolutely insane moment here.
No way! No way! No way! Ah!
And the music that was being blasted was absolutely brilliant too. I can't wait to get back on it on the start of the season, hopefully in Derry. At number 2, we have Owen Curry's The Beast Afterburner. Funny enough, the ride ended up at the number 2 spot last year too. The Beast did not open on opening day at Curry's in 2023. Instead it opened in May. I'm not too sure why, but I didn't get on it till June, but it was worth the wait. As always, it's an absolutely incredible ride, and thankfully this year it's always been running a really strong cycle. It has some extremely powerful swings, and the sensation when you're at the peak just feels absolutely incredible. Riding it on a summer's evening was so good, honestly. But my favourite ride of the season actually was one that I didn't even record. After I had filmed my video at Waterworld, I went down into Curry's and had a ride on the Beast, and the cycle was absolutely incredible. It spent a really long time at max height. It always seems to be the ones that I don't record that end up being the best cycles, I don't know why. It ran really good cycles in October, and I'm really hoping that I will get a POV of one of these really good cycles, so I'm just going to have to remember to bring my camera next time I go to Portrush in October. So, we are here again. The number 1 ride of 2023 is the Smiler at Alton Towers. This Gerstlauer Infinity coaster opened in 2013 and currently holds the record for the most inversions on any roller coaster, with a total of 14. In 2021, the ride made it to number 2 in my top 10 rides list. However, this year it has finally made number 1. While some people are like, oh, it's so rough, I don't think it is, to be honest, and it's really enjoyable ride. And that single rider queue is absolutely goated. You're only waiting like 5 minutes, whilst the rest of the queue is only 2 hours. I mean, except the time the ride broke down, but we don't talk about that. And the good thing was I got a front row ride on that ride, which is simply the best experience I've had on the coaster. And also the night ride was absolutely amazing too. And don't get me started on the theme. There's just so much I could say about this ride, but I'm gonna have to leave it there because I've just realised how long this video is actually. But with that, Smiler is the number 1 ride of 2023. Now that was the top 10 rides of 2023. What were your top 10 rides of 2023? Let me know in the comments below. Stay tuned for more content throughout the 2024 season in Northern Ireland and beyond. And thank you for watching, and goodbye.